And at that time, I couldn't drive because I was like 15. And I asked my dad, I was like, hey, my friend is stuck there. Can you help him, please? Can we go there and pick him up? And my dad says, of course, yeah, let's go. When we got there, my friend was staying there, staring at us, doing nothing. We were just like calling for him, just come on, and nothing. So in a couple seconds, it was like 4 IRGC's cars. They surround us. They point their gun at us. They pulled me out of the car. They covered my eyes and they put me in a car and they point a gun on my head at the age of 15. We were just 2 kids.
Welcome to What Came After. I'm your host, Manya Marcus. On What Came After, we'll take a look at the many ways people's lives have changed since the brutal massacre in Israel on October 7th, 2023. We'll be speaking to people around the world to learn how this profound moment in Jewish and global history continues to shift, shape, and change them. To learn more, please visit us at whatcameafter.com. Hi everyone, this is Manya Marcus. I'm excited to introduce all of you to today's guest, Danesh Malmir. Danesh was born in Iran and came to the United States several years ago as an asylum seeker. In this episode, Danesh shares the story of his activism against the Iranian regime. He also speaks about the intense personal cost of that work. Danesh was shot during an anti-government protest, witnessed the IRGC kill a close friend at that same protest, and was ultimately forced to flee Iran, leaving his family behind. Unlike most guests on the show, Danesh is not Jewish. He describes himself as both an anti-regime activist and a peace seeker, committed to the vision of a free Iran. Those same convictions inform his support for the recent military campaign against the regime, an operation that was ongoing at the time of this interview. As of today, April 24th, 2026, a fragile ceasefire is in place. I hope you all enjoy this episode. It's an important one. Okay, so it is March 25th, 2026, and I'm really honored to be sitting here with Danesh Malmir. Did I say your name correctly?
Absolutely, yeah. It looked like a Danish when you write it down, but it's Danesh.
Danesh, okay. So if you could tell us where you're from, where we are right now, and how you got here, I think that would be fantastic.
So I'm from a small city called Khorramabad, west of Iran. I born there. And when I was around 10, I moved to Tehran, like the capital. And I raised there and was there when I was 28. And at the age of 28, I had to come here in the United States as an asylum seeker.
So you and I were just talking about this in the car, and you were saying that it can take up to 5 years to secure asylum status and get a green card. And for you, it took 4 months. And you were describing for me this scene when you're in court, and it's a 45-minute in and out kind of situation because I assume because your story was very compelling and it was very clear to people that you really did need asylum. Can you tell us what is part of that story? What made you an asylum seeker?
Not just a story, it's a life that I've been through. If I tell my story, people that lived here and born here, they don't believe that. They said, that's so like a movie. But many people, millions of people in Iran, they just live that life. If I tell them the government was following someone just because they were in protest, they were about to get killed, they arrest you, they put you in jail, and they give you death sentence just because being in the protest. Many people, maybe they don't believe that, but that's true. It happened. It happened a lot. So thanks to United States, thanks to all the understanding here that the judge had, they gave me this opportunity to live here safe, free, and be able to act like a human, have basic human right that everyone else has.
It sounds like there's a very kind of difficult story that's in this. I know you've shared that you've seen things and experienced things that are really hard for those of us who haven't experienced them to understand. And if you're comfortable talking about it, I think it would be helpful to hear.
Absolutely. So my journey started when I was 14. It was the Green Movement in 2009. I don't know if you heard about it.
No.
It was not a revolution. I don't call it revolution. This is the first time Right now, I called it revolution. We don't want the whole regime right now. But back there, it was the protest against not the regime, against all the system for the presidential election. So it was the green movement. I was around 14 or 15, and we were writing graffiti on the wall with my friend.
You were writing graffiti on the wall with your
Yes,
friends. Okay.
yes.
In support of election
And
reform.
yeah, we were just like, we need to change the results. It was like a whole thing that was happening. And an IRGC car was right behind us. And he said, "What are you doing?" And I told my friend, because I was in a track and field team, I could run really good. So I told my friend, "You go that way, I go this way." So we ran away, we separated there. And I managed to escape from the car, but I didn't know about my friend. And I keep calling him. He didn't answer. And after like 10 times attempt to call, he answered finally. And they said, "Okay, they got me. They released me. They beat me up. And I'm in the street." I was like, "Okay, do you need a ride?" And he said, "Yeah, can you just pick me up?" And at that time, I couldn't drive because I was like 15. And I asked my dad, I was like, "Hey, my friend is stuck there. Can you help him, please? Can we go there and pick him up?" And my dad says, "Of course, yeah, let's go." And when we got there, my friend was staying there, staring at us and doing nothing. We were just like calling for him, just come on, and nothing. So in couple seconds, it was like four IRGC's cars. They surround us, they point their gun at us, and they asked my dad to stay in the car. They pulled me out of the car. They covered my eyes and they put me in a car and they point a gun on my head at the age of 15. I'm saying multiple times, age of 15. We weren't murderers. We weren't drug lords. We were just two kids
Some punk kids,
writing
yeah.
graffiti on the wall. Something that really normal here.
Right.
Have you ever heard that? A kid being criminalized just because writing graffiti on the wall?
Mm-hmm.
That's horrible. That's disgusting. So they point a gun at my head. They took me to their bases,
Mm-hmm.
like in code. But
you're doing the finger quotes. Yeah, they're bases.
Their
Why
bases,
are you doing finger quotes around bases?
Because it wasn't a formal base. It was a building. It was a residential building. It was a home. So when you get arrested here, they take you to a station. There's signs, there's cars, there's uniformed people, but you don't know them. It was a whole building, residential building.
So just to really make sure I understand the scene, there are two teenage kids drawing graffiti on the wall about this green movement election reform thing. You guys are essentially taken by the IRGC. He's taken your friend. And then you and your dad are sort of like entrapped and then encircled. You get a blindfold put on your head. You have a gun pointed at your temple, and you're taken to a residential building, which is not at all identified. Nobody is in uniform, and this is where they're having their operations come out of.
Exactly.
Okay.
An interrogation room was like a bedroom. I thought it's a base, but it wasn't. It was like a bedroom. And that's really horrible because you hiding among the civilians. If something happens and someone gonna hit you, hiding among the civilians, because people that living to the next building, they have no idea what's going on here. So they were terrorizing me because I was hearing the stories that they arrest people and many of them, they don't come back.
So this is something that you were aware of as a child.
I was aware. You hear the stories all the time. It's like a big propaganda in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
They said if you say something, they're gonna take you, and there is nobody.
But it's not exactly propaganda because sometimes it was true.
It is true, but they bold it. They just like be aware of that. Don't do anything. We do that, and I hear real stories, like from one of my family members, a far cousin. They took him, and we didn't find anybody. He doesn't have any grave.
You still don't know where he is.
No. It's like 20 years now.
And just to give us some context, what do you think that he would be taken for? Was he a political activist?
You can get killed for simplest reason. Just saying something wrong against the leader, the Ayatollah, that thank God
now is
he's
no
out,
longer.
Former Ayatollah. I say that. Just saying a single bad word about him.
So when you tell me about this cousin who was taken, you have no idea where he is now?
No, it's like 20 years. His mom is still waiting. Some days he knock on the door and walk in.
That's what she says.
Yep. She still feel like that. His dad died, but if you go there every year, there's his picture on the wall. She put his picture on the half scene. We call it half scene, and just waiting for him, even after 20 years. I mean, we all know what happened, but
And you don't know why he was taken?
his friend told me that because he was working in a government building, not just IRGC, it was something related to the powers. And he said that he started talking to his boss about the Islamic regime. And his boss first acted like he's against the regime too, but that was a trap.
You know, I don't know how much you know about this period in history, but it sounds a lot like East Germany, like the Stasi, like people really spying actively on each other. Does that sound right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When you grew up in Iran, you hear a story that don't talk in taxis. Even the taxis, my dad was like, don't talk about this, don't talk about that. In a school, when you go to a school, even as a kid, as a 10 years old, as a 12 years old, you have to respect their pictures of Ayatollahs. If you do something, you're in trouble and your mom is in trouble and your dad is in trouble too, because they said, how you grow up your kids? Why they don't respect the Ayatollah's pictures?
Okay, so we are going to get to this part of the story because I'm interested to hear how your family is doing. I know your parents are still in Iran, so I'm going to bookmark that. But I want to take us back to the scene at this sort of unmarked building with unmarked people. They take you in, and what do they say to you?
The first thing that he asked me was, who are you working for?
And you're 15. This year
I
15.
was 15 years old. They were trying to connect me to like Musa, to CIA, just like you working with them. They pay you to do that. That's their ideology.
You told me this, and I just want to make sure we get it. They said, are you working with?
They said, who are you working? They didn't say,
Okay.
are you working? They said, who are? Because they were pretty sure about it. I'm working with someone.
And what were the places that they named?
They said, are you working with Israel? When I heard the Israel name, I was like, they're not going to let me out. I was so scared because when they connect someone to Israel, that's it. They just have no mercy.
Sometimes I think that the way that we think about this as Jews or in the West or whatever, the way that we understand the IRGC's obsession with Israel is overblown. But you're making it sound like, no, this is a real fixation. This Israel is truly the enemy.
The whole country, even the gas price, they said it was Israel. I don't know if you heard about that.
Mm-hmm.
The grocery prices, if it goes high, they connect it to Israel and America. Even the simplest thing. It's so funny. It's if you
I'm
know,
laughing, but this feels very not funny.
Exactly. If you tell this story to someone and they just like, oh, how is that possible? But they really connect that. The grocery prices, the egg price. The egg price was high, and someone from the government says, oh, it was US and Israel job. So imagine if you say something, if you do something against the government, of course they're gonna pin you down to Israel. In their mind, they said our own people, they don't do that. It's absolutely Israel.
So it can't be something where a teenager is upset and expressing himself and having independent thoughts. This has to be architected by some evil foreign power.
Absolutely.
That's not a lot of respect that they're giving people in terms of their own intellectual abilities, right? Like they seem to not understand that people think for themselves.
They just think the Iranian people all agree with them. And the people that are protesting, they said these are Mossad agents, CIA agents in the street. So they don't believe that. They don't believe that people don't want them.
So again, I just want to make sure people understand. You say Mossad. I think that's maybe the
Yeah.
Farsi way of saying it. We say Mossad.
Mossad.
Like this is real. Like this is a real line of explanation that you're hearing. There are 35,000 Mossad agents in the streets. Even though the secret to Mossad's success is that they stay undercover, no, they're in the street.
Exactly. If there's 2 million people outside, they connect them to Israel and all the intelligence service that they have, Mossad.
They're all Mossad
and CIA and stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So we started this by me asking you about your green card, your asylum status. Was the judge familiar with this kind of situation occurring in Iran?
That was the first thing that the judge said. They said, just for your information, for all of us, for my lawyer, for the government lawyer, she said, I'm familiar with all the stuff that's going on in Iran. I'm watching the news. I know the situation.
So she was aware.
Thank God. These judges are amazing. The whole system was so nice to me. I'm so grateful for that. They gave me opportunity. They gave me all my paperwork. I started working right away. And for the first time in my life, I realized how it feels to live in a free country, to live in a good country, the country that government supports you. You're not scared of the cops. If it's so sad, if I tell you this, many Iranian people in the street, when they walk, they're scared of the cops. When they see police in the street, they're scared of them. But here, you see the cop and just like, okay, I'm safe. There's some police over here. I'm safe. I can walk safely, you know? I was telling my brother, when we have rallies, the cops are there. The police are there to make sure that we are safe. We can say whatever we want. We can take whatever flag that we want. But we don't have that feeling in Iran. If you go out there, you can get killed. But many different forces like IRGC, the police, they have the secret service, they have the secret police. This is the feeling that I had for the first time, thanks to the United States. They just gave me that opportunity.
So you're referring to protests and rallies that you host, and we'll talk about your organization in a few minutes. But you're saying that you receive police protection when you are hosting a rally, when you are putting yourselves out there with a position that doesn't matter if it's popular or not, you receive protection.
Exactly. They were just making sure that we all safe.
That must have been quite a different feeling
Oh
for
my
you.
God.
Let's go back to this moment, because this moment when you're in this unmarked building, they beat you up. How did you get out of this? And what changed in your mentality? I mean, I'm just going to tell you that if I had had this experience, I truly believe that I would have kept my head down and said, I'm not going to do this again. I am scared. The daylights are gone. I'm terrified. I'm not going to do graffiti. I'm not going to speak against the regime. I'm going to live my life as quietly as possible. I would be scared because you're a teenager. It's a time when you're becoming a person. And to have such a formative experience with violence and terror, I really think it would have shut me down. What did it do to you, and how did you get out of this building?
I don't know what happened in their mind, but they decide to not follow up with that. So I was like, okay, I take it. And I ran away. But after that, I had two choices: fight back or just, that's it. Finish your job. Don't do anything. Don't say anything. For a while, I was kind of quiet. I was shocked. I had like the PTSD, I guess.
Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Because it's something that when I'm thinking about it right now, I'm saying I survived that. And it's kind of make me like proud of myself. I survived that. I made that. I could have died in seconds, you know? You have no idea. But I survived that. That's make me feel proud of myself. At that point I had two choices: fight back or stay quiet. But I choose to fight back. I choose to raise my voice. I'm always saying that I grew up so fast. At the age of 15, my life changed forever. I didn't grow up like a normal teenager. When I come here and I see normal teenager, they having fun, it's amazing. I love that. I wish this for my country too. I don't want any teenager grow up under the fear, like wars, like a bad government, like terrorizing. So at that point, I try to grow up my knowledge about Islamic ideology, about what's going on in my country, what's going on around it. Because when you're younger, you don't know exactly what's your government doing, what's happening in your region, what's the international relationship, why Iran has a lot of sanction, why economy is like that.
What is the economy like?
Oh, we have all the sanctions. So if I tell you how much people make right now in Iran, you're gonna laugh. It's $200 per month.
That's like an average salary.
That's an average salary.
Wow.
That's a good salary, actually. So I was thinking about it. We get that much money, and all things that we buy, it's in US dollars. You can't buy a TV with reals. The TV costs $1,000, for example. So you have to work 5 months just for a TV. This phone that I have, it's 1,600. and you have to work like 8 months just to get a phone.
So you had questions.
I was like, I need to know about it. Why we are like that? Why there are sanctions?
Let me ask you this. How were your parents feeling about your decision to raise your voice and fight back? They must have been scared.
They were scared but supportive. My dad was really happy about it.
Really?
Yeah, my dad was really happy. He was advising me that don't go crazy with it.
Mm-hmm.
They were supportive, of course, because I grew up that way. My dad was super supportive all the time with all the decisions that I made, and that shaped my personality.
What about your mom?
My mom was kind of like, be careful, because it's not easy at all. It's a really hard situation, and there's fear in the air, like for every action. Of course, they had fear, but they were supportive. Like, they were just like, just keep it quiet.
Okay, so what were your next steps when you recovered from what happened? How did you proceed?
I actually started studying about like the Islamic ideology, their ideology, what they think, what they believe.
How did you get access to information like that?
There was a high access, not like high access into the internet in Iran, because they're really against the internet, the social media, they're really against it because they don't want you to know about it.
Right.
But I was good at technology
Mm-hmm.
and I dig in a lot in social media, in Facebook and YouTube, watching the videos that are forbidden. Facebook and YouTube, Twitter, they're filtered, they're censored in Iran still till this day. So you have to use the VPN, you have to change your IP to gain that.
So you have to really be good with tech to
Yeah.
try to
Yeah.
get other
You not
perspective.
yeah, it's not right there. Like you just like search it and it just blow up. No, it's not like that. You have to be good at it. You have to have good access to high speed internet, which is kind of hard in Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to change your IP. You have to get a VPN and connected that to your computer to have access to the videos, to the books that I read. But I gained access to those, and it just was a lot of new information that we had no idea about it. For one thing, I didn't know about the Holocaust till age of 14.
And you found out about it yourself.
And I found out about it myself. They don't talk about it in the school. Actually, they deny it. It's that systematic. Like they started at the very young age. At the age of 6, 7, you start growing up like that. I didn't know about
did
it.
they say to you, people say that this thing happened and it did not? How did
They said they didn't. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. They just made that up. That's what they say. So that was actually one of the first things that I was like, okay, I need to know about it. So I was like reading about the World War II and the stuff that going on, and I saw proof of it. It was facts. And I was like, oh my God, what else they lie about?
Let me ask you this. It probably seems really intuitive, but as you know, I got back from Israel just a week ago. And at the last interview I did before I left was with a woman who's in charge of trying to promote Holocaust education in Muslim countries that are participating in the Abraham Accords. And I talked to her a little bit about this, but I'd like your perspective. Why is knowledge of the Holocaust so important or so dangerous if you want to continue this ideology about Israel and the Jews? Why do you think that this is such an important thing to deny if you're trying to get people to hate Israel?
So I believe it goes back to their ideology that is telling them they are the God representative on the earth. And they have to do this. They have to destroy all the things that connected to Jewish people. If it was their hand, they really were like killing all the Jewish people, like doing a second Holocaust.
And so they didn't want people to know that there was a first try?
They just deny it. I don't know if you know about Ahmadinejad. He went to the UN and denied the Holocaust in front of the whole world.
That was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah. And imagine what they do to their own people, what they say to their own people. Why they ban the internet, why they filter YouTube, why they filter Facebook, because they don't want you to know about it, because there are facts out there and you can have access. And if you see it, even me as a 15 years old kid, I saw it and I was like, that's it. It happened. It's true. It's proof of it.
So, I mean, I'm trying to understand this. You're a teenager and you are really taking on a mission of educating yourself. But I'm assuming you're also going to school. Did you go to school
Yes,
in
yes,
Iran?
yes.
And you're having the curriculum that you're having in school. Can you tell me about this compare contrast, the split screen of what you're teaching yourself and learning and what you're learning in school?
So we have a course called Knowing the Religion.
Right. Knowing Islam.
Yeah, they teach you that. They teach you an idea, and you have to memorize it. You have to keep repeating it to get the grade, because you need the grade, even if you don't like it. So I was comparing these two: free information from one hand and all the information that they were giving to me. And the more I was going forward, I was like, this is so wrong, because I had access, after all, to the internet, because many people, they don't even try that before. Now it's a lot more, thanks to social media, thanks to all the internet that came through. People know a lot more. But back then, people just living their life, being quiet and not talking about it. But I wasn't like that. I was like, I need to know it. And as I was moving forward, I was like, this is really wrong. The Islamic ideology that they're feeding us, it's not going to work. And I don't like it at all.
Okay, so I already feel scared for little Danesh.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
this is not good. Are you saying this to your friends? Because it would.
Absolutely. That's
You were.
Yeah. Even my family, my brother, I was telling him about it. I was telling my friend about it. And first they have a defensive reaction, because they said, oh, don't say that. Don't do that. They just make you to believe that it's a guilt. But I didn't stop. I told all my families, I told about it, all my cousins. First, I got a lot of negative reactions, because when all these things happened, people were still in a social position, but they knew the government is lying, but they didn't want to talk about it. It was
Right,
like,
because it could
it
be
could,
dangerous for
it can
them.
cause you death. You can get killed for that. Even if you say about Holocaust. There was a weblog back there that talk about Holocaust.
There's a blog in Iran.
Yeah, it was this guy. He was 39 at that point. They arrest him, and they gave him 15 years of jail.
Wow.
Just talking about Holocaust. So yeah, I was talking about it. I started my mission. I call it my mission, my journey. I talked about it. I try to tell people about it, make them educated more. And one thing that is banned in Iran too is the satellite dish, because they don't want that too. They fine you for that, and you can go to jail if you do all that work. So I learned how to work with that too. I fixed all the satellite dish for my family,
Oh, wow.
for my cousins, for everyone. 'Cause I'm good at tech. I was about to create a channel on YouTube and talk about it, but that was too risky.
But here's the thing. You're very aware of the risk because you already had this really frightening experience with quote unquote law enforcement. I know you're saying there's no law, but government officials. But the thing is, it's not just you that you're endangering. And you know that. You knew that at this point. To put satellite dishes around for your relatives, your own family, you're getting them closer to being in trouble.
Absolutely.
How did you feel about that? Did you feel any guilt? Were you afraid? What is running through your mind as you're making these decisions?
It's a mixed feeling of having a fear, and that feeling that, oh my God, if they get in trouble, that's because of me. But in the other hand, you can't stay quiet. You can't just stop talking about it. Then you get that information, then you know more thing about the ideology that they have. You can't just be quiet.
But I bet you could. I'm not trying to be devil's advocate. I'm just saying, give yourself some credit, because there's something in you that's just flammable. It's like you got set on fire hopefully in a positive way. But I'm sure people are aware of some of these things and they just try to save their lives by sitting on it.
It's really tough. It's your life. There is nothing more valuable than your life. If they don't kill you, they put you in jail for like 20 years.
My favorite movie about the situation in East Germany and the Stasi is called The Lives of Others, because the regime, or in this case, the Stasi, made you so obsessed, not just with your own activity, but with everyone else's.
I told you, even as a kid, if you disrespect to the pictures of Ayatollah, it's not just you. They bring in your parents. It's like,
And
okay,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, I can handle myself.
You can take risks on your own behalf, yes.
But it's risky for your whole family. The North Korea do the same thing. If you do something wrong, they put the whole family in jail. It's something that happening around the world. I call it a terror proxy that they
Mhm.
have around the world. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's not just about you, it's your whole family.
So you do this. You're getting them satellite dishes, you're sharing information with family and friends. Are you thinking about who you can trust, or are you just
And
sharing it
one
everywhere? Oh,
one
yeah.
more
Yeah.
thing,
Go
I
ahead.
was doing helping a lot of minorities, like Baha'is, like new Christians, because I had this place. It was like a garden house. I just bought it because I like gardening, but that was a place that a lot of minorities stayed.
How old were you at this point?
I was 25 at
Okay,
this
so you're
point.
25. You've graduated from primary, middle, high school, I
Yeah,
assume.
yeah, yeah.
You are spreading the word about the outside world. You basically have created a safe house for non-Muslim.
It was basically a safe house.
Yeah, you created a safe house. What kind of work were you doing? What were you doing in the background?
I was working in a publishing center, working with books, publishers. It was a good job. I really enjoyed it. I was making a lot good money at that age. That's why I could buy an apartment. I could buy the garden house and stuff to help the people. At that point, yeah, I was 25. I was doing good.
Okay, so things are okay. And then what happens?
So, as I said, I was helping a lot of minorities, and I was helping this family that the government was watching them. Like, Baha'is, they don't have any rights in Iran. They don't have the right to have a car. They don't have a right, if they know you're Baha'i, you have no rights. They take your house, they take all your assets, they take all your profit. Like, they take everything from you.
They're such a small minority, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, but many of them, they got executed. It was mass execution in Iran, and they executed a lot of Baha'is, a lot of minorities. Like Christian, if you're Muslim and you want to change your religion, they execute you. It's in Quran. They said they have to be executed if you change your religion from Muslim to other religions. So they were in high danger in Iran. So I was helping them, but the government found out about the place
Okay.
and it was registered under my name. So I couldn't stay. I had a whole life. I had all my families. I have all my friends. I had a lot of things that I work hard for it. It's so hard. I still have a bad feeling that think about it. But one night you have to just put that all behind you. For the last time I was looking at my bedroom. For the last time I was looking at the street. For the last time, you only have a backpack and you have to get out of the country ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I hope no one feels. I hope no one understand it. I don't want that for anyone. It's really bad feeling. I mean, I love America. I love living here. I love this country. This is a great country. This is the country that gave me the opportunity to live like a human being without fear. But the thing is, when you look back and look at all your friends and family and my parents, I haven't seen my parents for 4 years.
I just want to emphasize for people, you can't go back.
I can't. I can't go back. There's no way I go back. It's something that it's make you empty from inside. Of course, I made a life here. I was doing good over there. Thank God I'm doing good over here. But still, I have that feeling like I left everything behind.
There were a couple inflection points along the way. And one of the things that you've shared is something about attending a protest and seeing some really horrible things. Can you tell us what that was and where that was in time?
So the one protest, it was about the gas price that I have a personal experience of that. It was like 8 of us. We went out and protest against the gas price that it went up in 300% in one night.
What year was this?
2019, I guess.
And so when did you move to America?
2022. Yeah. 2019, it was the big protest for gas price. And we were in the street close to Ayatollah's compound that he was living there. It was 5 whole blocks of his compound, and no one were allowed to even get close to it.
Wow.
So we were in that street, and it was like 10,000 of us in the same street. And the security forces, they saw us that we are like coming down. they start mass shooting. They didn't start even on tear gas. Like if you protest and they don't want you close to something, they start like tear gas. But they start mass shooting with real guns.
Now, did you guys have any weapons on you?
No, we were like unarmed, not a single gun from us. And they start shooting. And they send helicopters for us, like with machine guns on top of the helicopters. I got hit. I got shot on my right leg, but it was on my shin, so I could
Kind of
still
limp
like running.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my friend got shot. It was a main artery of his leg, and I had no idea about it. I was like, okay, let's go. His name was Arman. I was like, oh, let's go. And I was like carrying him, and after 10 steps, I could feel his body weight is getting heavier. I was like, Arman, come on. And I looked back, it was a whole trail of blood in the street, and the face got so pale. He died in like a minute. I couldn't leave him over there, the body, because I knew his parents, I knew his siblings, I knew him for a lot of years, It was a long term friends. And I took his body and hide his body somewhere in the street, in the corner. It was a park, something like a park. And I hide his body in the street. I was just hoping that no one see the body. Because if they see the body, they take the body, they call the family, and the family is in trouble. Okay, well, your son is in protest.
Will they tell the family that the son was killed?
So yeah, they tell them. They tell them that it's killed, but there is no body there. We don't have the body.
And now you're in trouble because your
And now,
child was at this event.
yes,
Okay.
yes. And so I hide the body and I covered it. I was bleeding too. So I wrapped my t-shirt around my legs so stop losing the blood. And I couldn't go to hospital because if you injured, if you got shot and if you go to hospital,
Then it's obvious that you
yeah,
were on the quote unquote wrong
yep,
side of this. Yeah.
yep. So it was this doctor, God bless him. It was this doctor that treating like the injured in the street in his house.
Mm.
So I went there, any medication, and he pulled out the bullet. It was so painful. It was so painful.
I'm wincing.
Oh
That
my
sounds
God.
awful.
Oh my God.
Okay.
He just pulled out the bullet, but he gave me like antibiotic to take it after like
The
he said
infection.
like
Yeah.
2 weeks, 3 weeks. He just gave me the antibiotic. But God bless him. I hope he's still alive. Nothing happened to him because the past couple months I hear they killed couple doctors that they helping injured. They execute them in their house. I hope he's still alive, but he saved my life, because I couldn't go to the hospital and I was keep bleeding. I had no idea what to do. It's frustrating. But I went to my friend's parents because no one had the courage to go and knock on the door and say the news. That was actually the hardest day of my life. It was really something that even recalling it, I feel really bad. I was the one that told the news to the parents. And we all were crying. I was crying just like them. At some point they were calming me down, you know?
The parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't go. It was his family, like his uncle and dad. They took the body. The body was still there.
They went to retrieve it.
They went and put the body in the car and they bury him.
Did you go to the burial?
Of course, yeah. It was something I'm saying it was the hardest day of my life to telling the news. I didn't expect that. I didn't see that is coming. So if you hear that there was like 37,500 people killed in 2 days.
That's what we were told a month and a half, 2 months ago,
Yep,
something like
yeah,
that.
in 2 days. It's human being. You look at it as a number, but I look all those individuals as the Armand that I lost, as the friends that I lost. I see them as my brother. I see them as my sisters. Many of them super young, 18, 19, good population that they can help the country to build for future. But this ideology, they don't care. They don't care about human life. They don't care about families. They don't care about the pain that parents have. They just know something. They just want to go for it. They don't care. They don't care about it. I look all those individuals as my armand that we lost that day. It's not just about 37,500 in 2 days. It's 47 years that they are killing people,
Just,
executing
I
people.
want to make sure that people know what we're talking about. From 1979, the revolution, which brought the Ayatollah, who
The
no longer
Islamic Revolution.
Islamic Revolution, yeah, which ushered in the Ayatollah Khomeini, right?
Yep.
Who is now dead, right? 47 years between 1979 and where we are right now, 2026. This has been a murderous, homicidal regime that entire time, installing a reign of terror, making sure that people are sufficiently afraid to control their behavior. And it was in the last few months, there were protests that started in Iran again over the economy, as I understand it, right?
Yes, that is correct. So for 47 years, as you mentioned, they try to make everyone think like them.
Right.
Like this propaganda that they have, like this TV that they have, the radio. If you turn on the TV in Iran, there's nothing but propaganda.
It's all state
It's
sponsored.
it's all there. It's they just want to set your mind to think like them, which Iranian people they never accept that. For 47 years,
Which is amazing, by the way.
we did the same thing with Islamic regime. We didn't accept any of those ideology. We said we don't want that. We reject it.
And it's something that I want to understand in a minute about Persian culture. So let's hold that thought for a second. Can you just walk us through what happened a couple months ago, these protests that began, and how it all exploded?
This is the first time I believe that people are protesting against the whole regime. Everyone they want a regime change. And the main reason that we are united right now and we can talk in the same language because we have a leader now after 47 years, the Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi. He's the main part that Iranian people are united right now.
I want people to understand there were protests, and then suddenly there was full internet blackout. And then we heard in a matter of days or a week that tens of thousands, minimum 37,500 people, had been executed by the regime. We now think it's much more. There was torture. There was just utter violence and pandemonium on the streets. I want people to really think about that, to really, as much as you can without scaring yourself, digest it a little bit.
So, as you mentioned, the internet was shut down, and I knew something horrible is coming because they shut down the internet. They don't want any videos outside.
Of course.
So, I knew something horrible is coming, and we could saw some videos that coming out. I was like, oh my god, they're shooting people in the street. Some people was taking videos, and it was straight in the face. But after we got more videos, it was shocking. It was shocking. This is the pictures that I think I'm never gonna forget in my life. There is no way I forget that. This is the pictures of the body bags, thousands of them laying on the floor. They didn't have enough freezer to keep the bodies in there. One video that I was watching, it was this mom that looking for her 18 years old daughter. She was opening body bags one by one, like zip down, look at the face, just hoping that it's not her daughter. But she found her daughter. Like imagine opening a random body bags, and you see your daughter in it.
And then imagine that that's the best possible outcome.
That's
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 what you're
the
looking
that's
for.
what you're looking for. You want to find a body because you know she's dead, you know? That's what you're looking for. You want a body, you want a grave, you want a monument, you know?
And there's something that I want to say here because it's important to me. You know, there was so much denial of the sexual violence on October 7th. And I know that there was sexual violence that was occurring in Iran, torture on such sadistic levels.
Exactly. I'm always saying that the same thing happening with Iranian revolution right now, it exactly happened with Israel. When October 7 happened, people talked about it. they just censor it. The media, they didn't pay attention to that. But as soon as Israel stand up and they wanted to defend themselves against these criminals, these terrorists, you see all the college campuses, they just protesting against Israel. But none of them, they talk about October 7th and the horrible thing that happened in there. I was seeing the videos from October 7th. I was disgusted.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even have mercy for newborn babies. How evil you can be. Hurting civilians first and hurting babies? Come on now.
But
And the same thing,
that's what's happening. Yeah.
yeah, the same thing happened in Iran. All the brutal thing that happened. 2-year-old kid. It was in body bags in Iran. 2 years old. Imagine 15, 16, 18, even 95 years old. From 2 years to 95, they were in body bags. In Iran, they killed them. They slaughtered them. And I saw the videos in Iran. They were shooting protesters in the hospitals. They killed at least 5 nurses. They tried to defend the patients, but they shoot them. It was this body that they had like the EKG pads on the chest, but there was a bullet in the head.
We're recording this about a week and a half after I'm returning from Israel, where I got stuck longer than I'd anticipated because of the war. And I saw, for example, that the Chicago Teachers Union had a protest while I was away. It was called something like Keep Our Hands Off Iran and Lebanon. And they were referring to the fact that Israel and the United States should not be at war with Hezbollah and the Iranian regime. And I thought, have they considered the alternative, which is for this to continue to happen, for people to keep showing up in body bags and raped and tortured? And do you feel like the West, like we understand what's at stake right now? What do you want to tell people?
I believe right now, Western people that are anti-war and they protest against the war, they don't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture is, okay, it's a lot of sad story going on in Iran, a lot of body bags, a lot of people get die, execution every day. But it's not just about Iran. If you look at it, this war is not just about Iranian people. It's about not just even about the Middle East. If you look at the Middle East, they have like the terrorist group, they have the proxies in Iraq, Hashto-Shabi, they call it Hashto-Shabi in Iraq. They found them, they give them money. Houthis in Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon, they get money from, we call the Islamic regime their ATM, you know? No, they really,
Okay, I like
their
that.
ATM. They just want cash and they get the cash from them.
It's good to laugh. Okay,
Yeah. No, that's actually
and
like,
also Hamas. They're the ATM to Hamas. Also,
yeah, they give them guns.
Right.
Who they get the guns from? Who gave them guns? I'm sure US, they don't give them guns.
Let's hope not.
Israel, they don't give them guns, of course.
Right.
Who give them guns? Who give them all that money? Who they work for?
So you're asking people to see the bigger picture.
The bigger picture. It's not just about even the Middle East. It's even here in the United States. They did bombing in Argentina. They did a lot of terrorist activities in Africa.
Yeah.
In Europe. There's a case, it's called serial killers in Europe. And they start eliminating all the opposition in Europe in the worst way. Even in the United States, I saw this FBI report that they shut down for IRGC operation in the United States. It's not about Iranian people. It's about national security here in America. It's about national security in Israel, in the whole Europe, the whole world. We have to be worried about this regime.
Yeah, you were saying that the IRGC had plots on 4, I don't know if they were Jewish institutions
Absolutely.
that were here that were shut down by the FBI. I just want to amplify that because it is frightening.
It is. And the whole world should be worried about it. Their missile program is dangerous.
Yeah.
That could happen to Europe.
Right.
This regime, they have the last update that they gave about the uranium that they have 400 kilograms of enriched uranium.
This is a genuine threat. And not just a regional one.
It can destroy a whole country.
But I think that for a lot of progressives, they want to believe that they're assessing this situation from a humanitarian lens. And if you look at the situation from a humanitarian lens, you cannot let the regime continue.
Absolutely not. for 47 years. If you're a human rights activist, you have to be worried about all those executions too.
Of course.
You have to worry about all the kids that died.
Yeah.
Like UNICEF, where's UNICEF?
Yeah.
Why they didn't talk about all the kids that died in Iran?
It's just about having random showings of force that keep people really terrified so that they don't rise up the way that they have now, right?
That's one of the main reasons that we have morality police. We have big forces from the police to keep hijab.
Mm-hmm.
They invest a lot of money in that to show we are here. You have to follow our rules. They could have fixed some part of economy with all that money. They just spend all that morality police, but they just want to show their presence in the street. They said, "Okay, we are here. Don't do this. Don't do that. You have to follow us." You know.
So this war is happening on multiple fronts. Iranians are certainly suffering right now. It's hard. And Israelis are exhausted and in and out of the shelters, and people have been killed. You said something really interesting. You told me two things that I hadn't thought about. The first one was about you talking to your parents who are still in Iran, and you hear bombs in the background. And what do you say to them, and what do they say to you?
I was talking to my dad, and I was hearing the bombing. It was loud, even over the phone. And my dad said, "Oh, they hit someone." I was like, "What? Are you guys worried? What happened? Get in a safe place." And he was like, "Nah, don't worry about it. They're not gonna hit us." They really trust the operation that is happening right now, that they're not targeting the civilians.
So I was laughing when we were driving because your dad was basically saying the IDF and the U.S. Army, they are very precise.
They were so accurate. They just hit the points.
And he's saying that while you're hearing bombs in the, I mean,
it's
man.
And the conversation we're continuing. Like, we didn't even stop the conversation. We were talking about one of my cousins that did that and did that. And my dad was like, keep continuing the conversation without any fear. And know that there is not a single siren in Iran, not a single shelter. The government, they didn't do anything about it. They put the country in the war and they didn't even have the shelter. I see the Israeli people, they just go to the shelter. The government, they just make those. And I saw the alarm that goes through the phones.
Yeah, the home front command app.
They just do a lot about it to make people ready for that because they care about humans' life, you know? But they don't care. The matter of fact, Iranian people are scared of IRGC more than anything else because they are hiding among the people. They put the launchers under the bridges that people are daily going, the missile launchers.
They put missile launchers under bridges and civilian areas?
Yep. And they have tents right now because all the bases are gone right now. They have tents in the street and they just are among the people, like in the cities. Like Hamas doing that. Hamas doing the same thing. They hiding under hospitals, kindergartens, you know?
And is it the same concept that if Iranian civilians are killed, at least it's a PR victory against Israel? Do you think that's part of it?
They want that. They want civilian casualties. If someone dies in a strike, they take as their own credits. They say they died for us, for the Islamic regime. That's their mindset. That's what they say. And they call them Shaheed. I don't know if you hear about that. They said, "Oh, they are Shaheed."
What does that mean?
That means they go to heaven.
Because they're martyrs, basically.
Yeah, because they died for us.
Yeah.
You know, they have the ideology that if you die for them, we go to heaven.
There's another thing that you told me, though, which is that when they do these internet blackouts, like Israel or the U.S. try to indicate to people, this is a red zone, you should evacuate here, you should evacuate there, and then they can't see that.
I have a friend and I saw exactly his street, exactly his home. Israel gave a map and they said, okay, stay away from these red zones. We're going to strike it in 4 hours, in like 3 hours. Stay away from this. This is the red zone. We're going to strike here. I was looking at the map east of Tehran and I saw, oh my God, this is my friend's house because we can't call them because the internet is shut down. And I was just hoping. And after 4 days of really high strike against the IRGC bases, he called me after 4 days because we cannot call them. There's no
So
internet.
how are they calling out?
It was like the carriers. It's not the internet. It's just the SIM card, and
Okay.
it's so expensive for them. But he called me for like 5 minutes to say that we are safe, and I was like, "Did you see the map?" And he said, "What map?"
Mhm.
And I told him that Israel just gave a map about the zone that they want to strike. And he said, "We don't have anything like that. They jam all the satellite dishes. They shut down the internet so they don't have access to that. They want the people die by the strike because they want the casualties. And they want to show the whole world, oh, look, Israel kill our people like civilians, That's what they want."
I want to discuss what you're doing now because you are doing a lot from afar. You have an organization. Tell us what your work is looking like right now, your activism here.
So the thing is, as I said, I cannot stay quiet. Even when I'm here, I have a job, I have a life, everything going, thanks to America, everything's going good. But I can't stay quiet. So we have this organization called Chicago MIGA, Make Iran Great Again. We did a lot of things, right, like rallies in the street, obviously, but we communicate with many politicians, congressmen, senators, even the White House to make people clear about what's going on in Iran. The massacre that happened for the protest, that was the main reason that we create this group to show the world that how brutal they are. What happened to the people of Iran's voice? Because the internet is shut down, they don't have any voice. If you stop talking about it, no one knows about it. So that's what we're doing. We just want to make sure that their voice going to be heard. In America, we have a lot of groups, a lot of organization in Europe, in Canada. We had a big rally in Canada. It was like 650,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was February 14th. The Crown Prince that I told you, the main opposition that we have, Reza Pahlavi, he announced that everyone around the world should come out February 14th. So it was like a million Iranian around the world. Here in Chicago, we had a rally. It was like 5,000 people.
Wow.
The main reason to make sure that all the people that died, they have a voice, they have a face, they have a name, and they have to be here.
What are you thinking about the future? What do you see happening in the next, I don't know, 6 months? What's your vision?
First, I want to say that absolutely support the strikes that happening in Iran. I have family in there, and with all the risks that I know about, I still support all the strike that's happening because that's the only way that this regime can go. Because people with bare hand, no, they're not gonna do that. We tried a lot, but
And it seems like diplomacy is not.
it's not. For 47 years, if you look at the news, even like 20 years ago, if you look at the news, there's always news about negotiation, but it's not working. They did a lot. A lot of governments, they tried a lot of diplomacy. We tried a lot peaceful protesters. We tried a lot of things. They're not gonna change. They're not gonna change. Even now, you see the news that talking about we're gonna make a deal. There's a deal going on. No, they're not gonna change. If it stopped right now, they coming back stronger. They coming back more powerful. They coming back with a lot of more money and do the same kind of activities. The war is not gonna be a safe place if they stay there. We have to keep fighting with them. That's it. This is the time that we have to fight with them, not just for Iran, not just for Middle East, for the whole world, national security for any country in the world. And if you're asking me what I think about future, I think for the first time, it's really happening. It's really happening. We are so close to make this world a better place. We are so close to that. And we love our Jewish brothers. We love our Jewish sisters. We don't hate them. We love them. And for 47 years, they just told bad thing about Jewish people, bad thing about Israel, bad thing about the Western countries. This is the moment that I think finally happening. And after a long time in the Middle East, it's going to be peace.
So your organization, it's interesting, to make Iran great again. You were born 31 years ago. I think it's well known that Tehran was like the Paris or, like it was a really cool place. People would go from Tehran to Tel Aviv and vice versa for the weekend,
Absolutely.
just to party, right? This was a common flight. But your parents probably remember when Iran was a great place. You don't. You were born into when Iran was already compromised by the IRGC. When you think about making it great again, are you thinking about how your parents have described it to you? What do you?
Absolutely. We were a good country. We were peaceful. We didn't have all these terror proxies, all this crazy ideology.
I think people don't realize that Iran was also a very progressive place.
Absolutely.
Women did not have to wear hijab. Women were working. Women were educated.
Exactly. The time of the Shah was there. This was a time that Iran, a good country in the Middle East. It's really hard to be a good country in the Middle East.
Why do you say that?
Because there's lots going on in the Middle East. It was going on in the Middle East. Now it's much better. Many countries in the region, they're doing great now. But it's always been hard to have peace in the Middle East because the Islamic ideology. I'm going to be straight. Because there are radical Islamists in Middle East that they really don't want that. And it's hard. It's really hard to achieve that. You want like Western countries, So Iran was doing great. Iran was doing good. And guess who took place? Islamic regime.
Mm.
And they stopped it. And they start creating all this terrorist organization and all these terrorist activities around the Middle East. So Iran was doing it great. And we want that back. We want that back really bad. Like, we are so patriots. We love our country. Even though many people, they even born here, but they are just like me. They just like, we want a good country.
I have two more questions. The first one is about October 7th, because that's the focus of the podcast. It's hard to say because I don't think there should be any silver lining to a massacre like October 7th, but it does seem, and I'm curious on your perspective on this, it does seem like October 7th set the stage for the fall of Hezbollah, at least for a time, the fall of Assad, that really the Middle East changed and is changing. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm really sad that something like October 7th in that scale, like the massacre that happened, something like that should the trigger and wake up the governments to find out who are these people.
Yeah, it really is hard to say that, but also we see that. Yeah.
Yes, it's like something that we should have acted a lot sooner before that. If you go back in time, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, how you stop October 7th? By just eliminating all these criminals in the Middle East. Stop supporting Islamic regimes so they can fund Hamas.
Right.
They can teach them how to fight. They can give them weapons. It's really sad that something like that should happen. That the governments, all the people, they wake up and they say, oh, we have to do something about it. It's really sad. I saw the videos. It was horrible. But I believe the pain. I know the pain. I know how it's hard to losing someone. But I'm always saying that it's really sad that something like that should have happened, that wake up the governments to take action against these people. But they are doing something about it. So I'm really glad. That's why I'm supporting this strikes. I'm supporting this war because we need it for peace. You cannot get any peace. If you stop now and the Islamic regime is still there, I'm telling you, another October 7th is coming.
That's very chilling. Let's talk about something a little more upbeat. Let's talk about Persian pride, Iranian pride. What is this all about? What is it that you feel proud of, and that the people who you're working with in your organization, what are they fundamentally proud of in your culture?
It's so interesting to me. We are a country for thousands of years. And actually, I want to mention this, that I know many Jewish people know about it, but we have a good history together. It's not just about now. It's about like 3,000 years ago, 2,500 years ago, that Jewish people, they just like in Babylonian, they were like exhaled to the Babylonian, and Cyrus the Great, as your friend says, Kurosh.
Kurosh is the proper way to say Cyrus.
Kurosh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Kurosh, they released them. He released them. it's a history between us.
So basically, they were exiled to Babylonia, and then Cyrus
Kurosh,
brought them back to
the
Israel.
land. Yeah. This is the culture that we have for thousands of years. If you go back to history in Iran, Alexander the Great invaded Iran, Mongolian invaded Iran, Islamics, they invaded Iran, and they tried their best to change us, to change the culture, to change the history, to change what people think, to change their language. But we resisted. We rejected. We didn't accept that because our culture, our history it's powerful. It's overcome everything that they're trying to do. The same thing right now is happening. Even people that born here, they're still proud of to be Persian, proud of to be Iranian. They are the part of the culture. So that's really interesting to me because after 47 years, I'm alive and I can see it. We are rejecting it. If you're 6 years old and you go to elementary school, they teach you to chant to death to America. That's a morning ceremony in a school in Iran. They teach you to chant to death to America, death to Israel. It's happening every day for you, and you're still rejecting it just because the culture, just because the history that we have. That's amazing to me. Like I told you, we are the country that they conquered by Muslims. And first, we didn't accept the religion. Second, we don't speak Arabic. We just kept our culture, kept our poems, kept all the culture that going on. Even the foods, we didn't even change the foods. Persian foods are there for a long time.
And it sounds like you missed the food.
We
had a discussion. So I want to give you two opportunities. One, shout out the restaurant that you were telling me about that has great kebab. Unfortunately, it's not kosher, but whatever. Other people can have it. What is it? And I know they support you guys.
Yeah, we have many businesses that support us since we started this movement in Chicago. But the restaurant that I'm referring is called Shemroon.
How do you spell it?
Shemroon.
Okay.
Yeah. Shemroon is a neighborhood in Tehran.
Okay.
That's what that name come from. They were really supportive during the rallies, even the big rallies in February 14. They offered a lot of help, and they did a lot of help, like amplifiers, like megaphones.
Yeah, it was not just food. It was amplifiers and megaphones.
It was everything.
That's pretty cool.
Walkie-talkies, and they rented a truck, all the flags, the posters. They were a big part. And to be honest, the Iranian people here, they spend out of pocket. We don't have any funding. We don't have any source of money. It's just the people that they're working on it. It's not just about one person. It's the whole thing. I think it was like 4,000 people.
Wow.
On February 14th here in Chicago. In Munich, in Germany, it was 250,000 people in Munich. It was like three main cities, LA, Munich, and Toronto. That was amazing. That was an amazing day, and they were really supportive. Everyone in Chicago, we have a good community here. We have Beta, and we have Pega. We have Arash.
These are individuals who are supporting this.
Yeah, Fatima. If there's a Neda, Raha, they helped a lot. They are helping a lot. Like,
yeah, it's amazing.
It's not just about me. It's not just about Pega. It's about the whole Iranian here, individuals, all of them, which is amazing. I really didn't expect that.
If people want to support your work, where do we go? Where do we find you online? What kind of support can we give you?
So we have a Instagram page called Chicago Miga. Chicago MIGA Miga. That's our Instagram page. We don't accept any money from anyone, but if you want to support us, you can contact us with Chicago Miga. It's an Instagram page, and we have the group chat in Telegram that's happening too. But the Instagram is the best way.
Okay, so find you on Instagram, learn about your events, and see how we can participate.
Absolutely, yeah, that would be great. We are more than welcome to anyone. Yeah, especially Jewish community. We really love to get in touch with you guys. This is the best opportunity to get closer. We always been close, but this gap, this 47 years gap, it just maybe separate us a little bit, not the people, but the governments. But we are finding the roots now.
Okay, so next year in Tehran?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, Danesh, it has been such a pleasure. Thank you for spending the time with
Thank
me.
you for inviting me. Thank you so much. And I want to just say to everyone that hear this, Iranian people, we really love you. We support you. We support whatever you're fighting for. You're inspiring a lot of Iranian that we fight for our rights.
Okay. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much,
Thank
Danesh.
you so much. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please rate, review, and subscribe to What Came After wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us online at whatcameafter.com.
چی نکنن بود دشمنون اونم به بود دشمنون دویا دویا وقت جنگ دویا دویا وقت جنگ حتی که بالا سرم پرشت شم و نیوه پرشت شم و نیوه موتورچی یواش برو دلکم بینم شیرشه حلال بکر بلکم بمی ایرم